I just completed about an hour and a half ago, spending about 1.5 hours flying over the scene, and I thought the first thing I do is share my observations. It appears that the application of the subsea dispersant is actually working. The oil in the immediate vicinity of the well and the ships and rigs working in the area is diminished from previous observations. In addition, our efforts, as the Admiral's already referenced, to fight this offshore appear to be working. There is oil on the sea. It is quite dispersed across the region and across the area shown on the map here on the right. And we're 23 days since the rig sank and the release began. And thankfully, we've had very little impact to shore, partly due to our efforts and undoubtedly partly due to Mother Nature's. As the Secretary previously mentioned, we're in the process of running the riser insertion tube. This is the method to contain the flow. This doesn't stop the flow, but it contains the flow. We hope to have that tool inserted by sometime late tonight. It's back on the seabed. We did have to pull it back to surface yesterday to make some adjustments so that we could connect it properly to the pipework that connects it to the ship. But we expect to begin operation of that equipment overnight tonight. The relief well activity continues. The development driller, the Discoverer Driller 3, the DD3 rig, which is drilling the first relief well, is on day 13 now. We're currently running the riser and the blowout preventer, and we'll be completing the last of the tests on that and should resume drilling over the next 2 days. And the Development Driller 2, the DD2 rig, which will start the second relief well, should spud or begin its drilling activity tomorrow. As the Admiral's already mentioned, the weather plays an important part in our ability to combat this spill, particularly offshore. Currently, unfortunately, the weather is not conducive to skimming or burning operations, but we expect that to change over the next day or so and allow us to use all of our tools over the balance of next week. And lastly, I just mentioned that we continue to have a massive response underway. Over 17,000 people are now working on this effort. We've deployed now over 1.2 million feet of boom. We have somewhere around 38 aircraft working, 650 vessels. So it's a massive effort involving 4 states, members of the government, BP individuals, and numerous contractors. And I'd just like to extend my thanks to all of those people whose efforts are making us have some success.
Question about the dispersants, I guess to you, Mr. Suttles. How much was in store already that you guys have been able to use, and have you put out an order for more? I guess I'm getting to the issue of there are many people who believe that there are less toxic, more environmentally friendly, or cheaper ways of doing this, and there's some concern that orders have gone out for more dispersants, and I guess people are wondering why you haven't bought those and stuck with I guess Corexit.
Yeah, let me start with explaining what these dispersants do, whether they're applied on the surface or in the subsurface. Their intent is to break the oil into much smaller droplets, and what that then does is allow the natural degradation process. The microbes in the water actually eat the oil. That's the process. That's why you use dispersants. It's to break it up into much smaller pieces and allow the natural process to be accelerated. So that's the way it works. We've been using a Corexit product. We also have a second product now identified to use called CBRAT 4, which we'll begin introducing into the process as well. One of the things we have to understand here is that we have to be able to supply these in sufficient quantities. The good news about using it subsea is we should be able to use considerably less dispersants than we do when we have to apply it to the surface. So if it works as we've seen in the test, it should mean that there's much less oil on the surface, which means our total dispersant usage will drop significantly, and we should be able to monitor and report on that over the next few days.